The stars stretched endlessly above the bridge of the flagship Intrepid Dawn, a silver arrow cutting through the darkness of space. Commander Arya Selene stood at the center, her hands resting lightly on the polished console. Her sharp eyes scanned the monitors, each blinking with soft green and blue lights, displaying the positions of human colonies, outposts, and patrol vessels. It had been weeks of routine patrols, charting new sectors at the edge of known space. Humanity had grown fast, expanding beyond the Sol system, with colonies scattered across nearby star systems. And yet, despite their growth, humans had always remained cautious. They had learned early on that the galaxy was vast, and not all who watched from afar were friendly. "Commander," Lieutenant Rin called, his voice calm but tinged with curiosity. "Sensors have picked up movement near the Orion outpost. It's unusual, not any known vessel signature we have in our database." Arya turned sharply, her eyes narrowing. "Show me," she said, her voice steady. On the central holographic display, a series of small, strange shapes flickered into view. They glowed faintly, as if powered by some energy source unfamiliar to human engineers. "They're not transmitting any signals. Looks like observation drones," Rin continued. "And there are a lot of them. Maybe hundreds." Arya's jaw tightened. Hundreds of alien scouts, watching human colonies, silently assessing humanity's growth. But she did not panic. Panic was not a tool for a commander. Observation, preparation, and strategy were. "Keep tracking them. Do not engage," she ordered. "I want full logs of their movement patterns. And alert the outpost we need no surprises." As the crew worked, Arya allowed herself a brief moment to consider the broader picture. Humans were no strangers to danger. But they had survived and thrived because of one simple thing: their ingenuity. While other species relied on raw strength, humans relied on their minds, their ability to think fast, and to adapt. That advantage had allowed them to turn small colonies into thriving civilizations in less than 2 centuries. Meanwhile, on the outer rim of the colony system, engineers at Orion Outpost worked under the pale glow of artificial lights. They checked communications relays, repaired minor hull damage, and calibrated defense drones. Every human involved in this effort knew their work was important, even if they didn't fully understand the aliens observing them from the dark void beyond the sensors. Dr. Lena Mora, the chief engineer, paused to adjust a magnetic stabilization array. She spoke to her assistant, Jaro, without looking up. "It's fascinating. Whatever they are, they're watching, but they're not attacking. Not yet." Jaro shrugged. "Maybe they just want to see how humans handle things. Maybe they're learning from us." Lena frowned. "Learning? From humans? They must be very brave, or very foolish." She smiled slightly. A human habit of nervous humor. "But either way, let's make sure they see us at our best." Back on the Intrepid Dawn, Arya continued her quiet preparations. She called her officers together in the briefing room, a wide space with sleek walls and a holomap of the surrounding sectors. "Team," she began, her voice calm but commanding, "we have an unusual situation. Alien observers are near the Orion outpost. No hostility has been shown, but we cannot ignore them. We don't know their intentions." Her eyes swept across the room, meeting each officer's gaze. "We will monitor their actions, gather as much intelligence as possible, and ensure our colonies remain safe. At the same time, we will prepare. Not for war, but for any eventuality. Humans succeed not because they fear the unknown, but because they plan for it." Lieutenant Rin leaned forward. "Commander, should we activate the defensive drones around the outpost? Protocol would suggest caution." Arya nodded slightly. "Yes, but no aggressive moves. Let them observe. They may not understand humanity fully yet. Let's give them a chance to see our ingenuity before they make any assumptions." The officers dispersed, carrying out orders with precision. On the bridge, Arya watched the slowly moving alien shapes on the monitors. Something about the calm, almost clinical way they floated through space reminded her of a storm gathering on the horizon. Quiet, patient, and waiting. As hours passed, the humans focused on refinement and preparation rather than fear. They tested communication networks, practiced fleet maneuvers, and calibrated their advanced propulsion systems. Every member of the crew, from the youngest cadet to the seasoned officers, contributed in their own way. Even the youngest crew members felt the excitement. Talia, a 15-year-old intern assigned to the observation deck, leaned close to the transparent panel that looked out into space. She whispered to herself, "They're out there, watching us." Her eyes sparkled with curiosity rather than fear. "I hope they see what humans can do." Quote, that curiosity, bold, unafraid, and eager, was precisely what had made humans survive and grow for centuries. The alien scouts might have seen many civilizations, but few moved with the same combination of caution and curiosity, of discipline and creativity, that humans displayed every day. At night, in the quiet moments when the bridge hummed with machinery, Arya reflected on what lay ahead. Humanity had never sought unnecessary conflict, yet they had never backed down from a challenge. If the aliens were testing them, the humans would respond with the same intelligence and resilience that had carried them from humble beginnings on Earth to the stars themselves. Somewhere among the distant points of light, the alien observers paused in their silent journey. They watched human colonies, observed the meticulous preparation, and recorded every small detail of human activity. Yet despite their presence, they could not anticipate the full measure of human creativity. They could see the tools, the drones, the ships, but the human mind, that was far more complex than any sensor could measure. Back on the intrepid Dawn, the crew worked late into the cycle. Engineers tweaked drone AI, tacticians ran simulations, and communication officers ensured that every human outpost could relay messages instantly. Commander Arya Selene moved through the ship, checking on each team, offering guidance, encouragement, and occasional sharp reminders. "Remember," she said to the navigation team, "humans don't just follow patterns. We create them. We adapt. That is our greatest strength. Never forget it." As the cycle ended, a subtle change appeared on the sensors. The alien shapes began to move closer, yet still without aggression. Humans watched, prepared for whatever might come, yet confident in their ability to respond. They did not panic, they did not freeze. They simply acted, and that, more than any weapon or ship, would be their greatest advantage. For the first time since the scouts arrived, Commander Arya Selene allowed herself a small, tight smile. Humanity was ready, not just to survive, but to show what they could achieve, even under the gaze of unknown eyes. In the endless expanse of space, the calm before the storm stretched on. But the humans, united by skill, courage, and ingenuity, would face whatever came next, with steady hands and clear minds. And when the moment arrived, the galaxy would see that humanity's strength was not measured in firepower alone, but in thought, resilience, and heart. The alien fleet hovered at the edge of the human sector like a silent shadow, dark shapes against the sparkling backdrop of distant stars. The intrepid Dawn drifted calmly at the forefront of the human fleet, its silver hull gleaming under the soft light of distant suns. Commander Arya Selene stood on the bridge, her hands resting on the rail, eyes steady as she watched the alien formations move. "They're larger than we expected," Lieutenant Rin said, his voice low, tinged with concern. "Multiple ships, and their energy signatures are unusual. Unlike anything we've cataloged before." Arya didn't flinch. "Numbers don't win battles. Intelligence, coordination, and creativity do. Observe, learn, and respond. That is humanity's strength." The alien ships, sleek and angular, glided closer. They emitted a faint hum that resonated through the fleet's sensors, a frequency no human engine had ever produced. Yet, there was no aggression in their movements. It was as if they were circling a complex puzzle they had yet to understand. "Commander," Lieutenant Rin added, "they're scanning us directly. Shields, hull composition, everything. They're trying to figure out how we operate." Arya nodded. "Let them. They will learn, but they will not dictate. Maintain position and keep all drones active. Observe and report. The crew sprang into action. Communication officers worked quickly to establish patterns for non-threatening signals. Engineers ran simulations on defensive drones, ensuring they could respond instantly without launching weapons. Every human on the intrepid Dawn and surrounding ships moved with precision, like a well-oiled machine. Yet their energy and determination gave it life beyond machinery. From the observation decks, young interns like Talia pressed their faces to the transparent panels, eyes wide with wonder. "They're really here," she whispered to herself. "They're seeing us, and we're seeing them." Dr. Lena Mora, monitoring ship systems from her console, smiled. Humans have a way of making ordinary actions look extraordinary. Watch them respond, even in the smallest ways. The aliens, however, had not expected human ingenuity. As they approached, their attempts to analyze human tactics were met with adaptive maneuvers. Human ships moved in synchronized patterns, shifting positions with elegance and precision. Holographic decoys flickered into view, confusing alien sensors. Small probe drones mimicked fleet movements, creating illusions of multiple ships in areas where none existed. "Commander, they're reacting," Rin observed. "They seem confused. They're adjusting their formation constantly." Arya allowed herself a small nod. "Good. Keep it up. Predict their moves, but stay flexible. That's how humans turn uncertainty into advantage." At the Orion outpost, the situation was no less intense. Scientists and engineers worked calmly, yet their hearts raced. The alien scouts had now come closer than ever. Hovering near communication relays, their ships emitted low pulses of light, scanning, analyzing, studying every human action. Lena leaned over a console, speaking to her assistant Jaro. "They're learning, but they're not attacking. That's significant. They expected fear, hesitation, anything human weakness might show, but we're giving them none of that." Jaro's fingers danced over the control panel. "I've never seen anyone stay this calm when aliens were this close. And yet, it feels like they're already impressed." Lena chuckled softly. Impressed or cautious? Perhaps both. Back on the intrepid Dawn, the bridge crew initiated the next phase of their strategy. Human ingenuity was not measured solely by reaction, it was in foresight. They activated advanced cloaking drones, which moved in patterns that appeared random but were carefully calculated. These drones transmitted misleading energy readings, suggesting that the human fleet was far larger and more complex than it actually was. The aliens adjusted their formation. Cautious now, hesitant to probe further. They had expected disorganized colonies, perhaps a weak response at best. What they saw instead was intelligence, coordination, and creativity. Every ship, every crew member, every drone moved with purpose. Humanity's strength was not just in their technology, but in the minds behind it. Lieutenant Rin couldn't hide a hint of awe. "Commander, they're stopping their advance. They're watching us." Arya's eyes stayed fixed on the glowing shapes of the alien fleet. "Good. Let them observe. Curiosity is a powerful teacher. They are learning, but so are we." Meanwhile, Talia at the observation deck noticed something unusual. One of the alien ships emitted a pattern of pulses, almost like communication, though it was unlike any human signal. She called over her mentor, a senior communications officer. "Sir, I think they're trying to talk to us. I don't understand the language, but the pattern is deliberate." The officer examined the display, nodding thoughtfully. "Yes, it's an attempt at communication. They may not expect us to respond in kind." Arya, observing from the bridge, smiled faintly. "Then we will respond not with force, but with clarity. Show them who humans are." Signals were sent. Simple, clear pulses of light and frequency designed to convey calm and awareness. Nothing aggressive. Nothing that could be misinterpreted as a threat. The alien fleet paused, their scanning intensifying, yet no attack came. As hours passed, the humans demonstrated another layer of ingenuity. Adaptive defense. Using environmental features, such as nearby asteroid fields and gravitational anomalies, the fleet shifted positions without moving their main ships, creating dynamic barriers that alien sensors had to navigate carefully. Each movement was subtle but strategic, highlighting human creativity and intelligence. The aliens began to hesitate. Their initial assumptions of superiority were challenged at every turn. The human fleet's precision, adaptability, and coordination showed them a species unlike any other they had encountered. These were beings who could think 3 steps ahead, who used the environment, technology, and strategy in ways alien minds had not anticipated. Commander Arya watched carefully. Do not let curiosity turn into overconfidence, she warned her officers. They are intelligent, and they are learning. But humans have something they do not. The ability to innovate in real time, to adapt and overcome, without panic. For the first time, one of the alien ships detached from the main formation, moving closer to the intrepid Dawn. It was not aggressive, but deliberate, cautious. A single pulse of light from the alien vessel reached the flagship. A clear message of observation. Arya leaned forward, studying the pulse pattern. They want to understand. Very well. Let them. She ordered the communication officers to mirror the pattern, responding in a manner humans could manage. Respectful, calm, and precise. The bridge was tense, yet exhilarated. Humanity was speaking to the unknown, not with weapons, but with mind and strategy. It was a display of confidence, not arrogance. It was the human way: intelligence, creativity, and courage in the face of uncertainty. Hours turned into cycles. The alien fleet maintained position, neither attacking nor retreating. They observed as humans performed routine operations, supply drones transferring resources between ships, engineers repairing minor hull damage, and crew members coordinating complex maneuvers with near-perfect timing. Even small, everyday tasks became a demonstration of humanity's efficiency and ingenuity. Every action sent a message to the alien observers. Humans were organized, capable, and adaptable. Young Talia whispered to herself again as she watched the aliens through the observation deck window. They don't understand us yet, but they're seeing how humans work together. Her eyes shone with pride. They're learning about courage, and maybe they respect it. Commander Arya, standing tall on the bridge, reflected on the moment. Humanity had not fired a weapon. They had not acted out of fear or anger. They had shown strength through intelligence, through teamwork, and through the ability to respond to the unknown with creativity, rather than panic. And it was working. The alien ships, despite their advanced technology and superior numbers, were hesitant, confused, cautious, and intrigued. They began to recognize something they had not expected. Humans were not a species to underestimate. For the first time, the aliens paused in their observation. They did not advance. They did not retreat. They watched. And perhaps they learned. On the intrepid Dawn, Commander Arya allowed herself a small, satisfied smile. This is only the beginning, she said softly. Let them learn who humans are, not through destruction, but through brilliance, courage, and unity. The calm of the starlit bridge held a quiet power. Humanity had faced the unknown, and in doing so, had already begun to demonstrate the strength that would define their place in the galaxy. The first contact was complete. No shots had been fired. No alarms had blared. And yet, the message was clear. Humanity had arrived, and they were ready. The alien fleet remained on the edge of the human sector, observing with intense interest, while humans continued their routine, showing every facet of their strength. In mere moments, the galaxy would learn that humans were unpredictable, ingenious, and capable of extraordinary things, and it all began with calm, courage, and the quiet brilliance of a species ready to claim its place among the stars. The alien fleet hovered near the edge of the human sector, their dark, angular ships reflecting distant starlight, like silent guardians of the unknown. Commander Arya Selene stood at the bridge of the intrepid Dawn, watching the monitors carefully. The first contact had gone better than expected. No shots had been fired. Yet the humans had demonstrated their intelligence, adaptability, and coordination. Lieutenant Rin leaned over the console. "Commander, the aliens are adjusting their formation again. They seem hesitant, almost cautious. They expected us to panic or flee. But that didn't happen. They didn't anticipate this." Arya nodded. "Good. That is exactly the point. They think they understand humans. But humans are unpredictable. Now is the time to show them what true ingenuity looks like." The fleet's movements became more intricate. Human ships executed synchronized patterns that were part dance, part strategy. Drones flickered through the void, projecting holographic images of additional vessels, giving the illusion of a far larger force. The alien fleet, for all its size and technology, struggled to interpret what it was seeing. "Commander," Rin said, "they're splitting their formation. They're trying to flank us." Arya didn't flinch. "Let them. Humans anticipate and adapt. We are not trapped by their expectations. Adjust our positioning accordingly. Use the asteroids near the Luton system as cover for our drones." The asteroid field was a natural obstacle, a chaotic landscape that could hinder sensors and disrupt formations. Human engineers and navigators used it to their advantage, guiding drones through tight spaces that would be impossible for the larger alien ships to navigate. Small energy pulses bounced off the rocks, creating patterns that further confused the alien sensors. At the Orion outpost, scientists and engineers monitored the situation with a mixture of excitement and pride. Dr. Lena Mora leaned over a console, her fingers moving quickly across the interface. "Every move they make, we anticipate. Every signal they send, we analyze. And every strategy we use is perfectly timed. The aliens don't know how to respond." Jaro, her assistant, smiled. "It's like they're watching chess masters at work. Every human action seems small, but it connects to something bigger. They can't see the whole picture yet." Back on the intrepid Dawn, Arya addressed her officers. "Humans do not rely on brute force. We rely on strategy, intelligence, and teamwork. That is what makes us formidable. Observe the enemy, anticipate their moves, and respond with creativity, not fear. This is the turning point. Show them who we are." Lieutenant Rin watched the monitors carefully. "Commander, they're trying a direct approach now. A few ships are moving straight toward our center. They may test our defenses." "Oh," Arya's lips curved slightly into a calm smile. "Let them approach. Our response will show the difference between thoughtless power and deliberate action." As the alien ships drew closer, human drones moved in perfect formation, projecting energy fields that disrupted alien targeting systems. The aliens had no choice but to slow down, their advanced technology struggling to interpret the humans' adaptive patterns. Then came the next layer of human ingenuity. Using the gravitational pull of a nearby dwarf star, human engineers calculated precise maneuvers that allowed their ships to change position rapidly without firing a shot. The alien fleet, seeing the sudden movement, attempted to adjust, but their calculations were based on predictable patterns, not the unpredictable logic of humans. "Commander," Rin said, "they're confused. Their formation is breaking apart. They're hesitating." Arya's gaze was steady. "Good. Humans do not seek unnecessary conflict. But we are never unprepared. Observe, adapt, and take advantage of every opportunity that presents itself. That is our strength." Even minor human actions contributed to the turning point. Small repair drones moved along the hulls of ships, reflecting light in a coordinated pattern that further distracted the alien sensors. Communication officers transmitted complex signals that mimicked energy surges, giving the illusion of additional ships charging into position. On the observation deck, young Talia pressed her forehead against the glass, mesmerized. "They're seeing everything humans can do," she whispered. "Not just our ships, our minds, our teamwork, our courage." Dr. Lena Mora nodded. "Exactly. Humans fight with more than weapons. We fight with creativity, strategy, and adaptability. That is what sets us apart in the galaxy. That is why we survive and thrive." The alien fleet attempted to regroup, sending fast, sleek vessels to flank the humans from multiple directions. But each maneuver was met with a countermeasure designed by human intelligence, not brute strength. Holographic decoys appeared in new locations, creating the illusion of overwhelming numbers. Drones moved through asteroid fields and gravitational anomalies, disrupting targeting systems and forcing alien pilots to hesitate. Commander Arya addressed the bridge crew calmly. They expected fear, hesitation, and disorder. We gave them none. Now, let us show them unity and brilliance. Humanity does not follow, they create. The alien general, observing from his command vessel, realized something remarkable. Humans were not predictable. They did not react in patterns the aliens could anticipate. Their coordination was flawless, yet flexible. Their creativity was continuous, adapting to every move with speed and precision. "They think differently," the alien general murmured, his voice tinged with disbelief. "They do not react, they anticipate. They do not fear, they innovate. We cannot predict their next move." Back on the human side, Arya initiated the next phase. Using environmental features, synchronized maneuvers, and advanced holographic projections, the human fleet created the illusion of a sudden, unstoppable advance. The alien fleet, despite its technological superiority, could not respond effectively. Every action they attempted was anticipated and neutralized without a single shot being fired. Lieutenant Rin's eyes widened. "Commander, they're retreating. They're breaking formation and moving away from the sector." Arya did not celebrate. She remained calm, her mind analyzing every detail. "Not retreating, Rin. They are reassessing. They now understand that humans are not a species to underestimate. This is the turning point. Respect has replaced their caution." At the Orion outpost, the staff erupted in quiet cheers. Engineers, scientists, and cadets alike had witnessed the power of human ingenuity in action. They had seen the alien fleet falter, not because of weapons or force, but because humans had demonstrated superior strategy, adaptability, and creativity. Dr. Lena Mora smiled at her assistant. "They expected fear and disorder. We showed them intelligence, courage, and teamwork. That is why humans endure. That is why humans are feared and respected in the galaxy." Talia, her eyes still fixed on the stars, whispered softly, "We didn't even fire a single shot. And we won. In a way they can't even measure." Commander Arya addressed the fleet through the intercom, her voice calm but filled with pride. "Humanity has shown what it means to face the unknown. Not with panic, not with aggression, but with intelligence, creativity, and unity. Let this be the moment they remember. Let them know that humans are not to be underestimated." As the alien fleet began to withdraw to the outer rim, their movements were cautious, hesitant. They had seen humans act not with mindless aggression, but with thought, skill, and precision. They had encountered a species that could think multiple steps ahead, adapt instantly, and create opportunities where others would see only danger. The turning point was complete. Humanity had demonstrated its strength, not through weapons or violence, but through brilliance, courage, and unity. Every ship, every crew member, every drone had played a part. Every calculation, every maneuver, every act of strategy had sent a clear message. Humans were capable, inventive, and formidable. Commander Arya allowed herself a small, satisfied smile. The humans had not just survived, they had excelled. They had turned potential fear into opportunity, uncertainty into strength. They had shown the galaxy that humanity was not merely another species among many, but a force to be respected and understood. As the intrepid Dawn and the human fleet returned to normal patrol patterns, the crew felt a quiet pride. They had faced the unknown, not with firepower alone, but with intellect, cooperation, and courage. And in doing so, they had set the stage for the future, where humanity would not just survive among the stars, but thrive. Even in the silence of space, the impact of human ingenuity resonated. The alien fleet had witnessed a species that could innovate under pressure, think beyond conventional strategies, and turn every challenge into an opportunity. Humanity had reached a turning point, not in battle, but in reputation. And from that moment on, the galaxy would never underestimate humans again.